Yeah, we good.
All right, Con. Yeah, you gonna put this up?
Okay. All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and infinite glory to our Heavenly Father.
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Machakodash.
All right, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us the truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Okay. With the beloved brother Tazaman,
Shalom.
myself being Malak, we're here to break bread and go into Ezra, the 4th chapter. Okay, because, as Ezra's name means, and as we very much need in this time, is help. Help with, of course, the salvation and the continuance of the building of our nation up. And it starts with this knowledge. But, the Lord, in this chapter specifically, the Lord, gives the nation of Israel certain trials to overcome. And, in this ministry, in our walk and what we've been given in our lot to complete this work that we've been handed unto, we can relate to a lot of these things, right? As the scriptures say, the things written of old are written for our learning, okay? So, it's a lot of these situations where we should be preparing our mind as we read them to go through them. And that's exactly why, we wanted to touch on this in this series, because we find comfort in these scriptures, and that comfort in our relation to Yahweh Shai depends on how we relate to the individuals written within this story, and that then makes us be able to inherit the kingdom, and by our relation to them emotionally, physically, spiritually, that's how we'll be able to relate to Yahweh Shai as well, and see whichever side we pretty much where our lives is at in the last days.
Go.
You got something?
Yeah, I got something real quick. This is the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8. It says, "For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers." You see, and just like what the brother was going into, we have these things that are written, in the scriptures, examples in history, the prophecies, things of that nature that the Lord has provided unto us, so that we could actually read these examples, and know how to move and navigate in today's time. The scripture says, that which has been is now, and there's no new thing that's under the sun. You see, so the same things that our forefathers was going through, we're going to go through the same things. So we are our forefathers coming back at the end of the day when it's all said and done anyway. But the Lord provided us examples on how to move and navigate. You see, so when you read Ezra, the 4th chapter, when it goes into the adversaries, our enemies trying to hinder the building process, you take that aspect and you take it into now. You see, what's the enemy trying to do today? And did the enemy actually succeed in stopping the building of the temple? And see with the Lord, the standard that Yahweh Bashem Al Shai is going to lift up in today's time. You see, because we are building another temple. It's not a physical temple where we got physical hammers and nails and things of that nature, but we are individually each stones within the temple. You see?
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So, that's pretty much the point of this, this series. Okay, it's just to meditate on these things, because we're about to have to apply these things that we've learned in the scriptures, and the Lord is really going to search out and see our reaction to certain things that He puts forth in each of our own walks. To see if we really to see how we're building. He's going to test our that structural integrity, right? That term that you have within the building process, and an inspection, an inquisition is made where they check your structural integrity. Right? You have an architect that may come out, or somebody that studies the building strength, and see if they can make it through, pretty much like any kind of category storm. All right, well, the Lord is about to do that with His elect. All right, and that's what the elders and apostles have been touching upon, this point of, that sifting process. Okay, as this wind blows, as our adversaries come down with great wrath, and that flood of men is pushed out, or those winds are blown on the earth. Right, well, that's going to test your structural integrity, and see if you was really sincere about the things that was taught, the things and experiences that were written about within ancient times, and are you able to apply them today?
Yep. And Shalom to you, Akim, on the comment board. I see Elder Yashalam on there, Shalom, and as well to you, Akim, Kahanyam, and you few Akwap that listen. How about Shemal Shabbat to you all. I got a precept for you real quick. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 10 in the NLT. It says, because of the Most High's grace to me, I have laid the foundation like an expert builder. Now others are building on it, but whoever is building on this foundation must be very careful. See, we gotta be mindful in how we're building. You just can't. When the temple was being built, it was specifics with the temple. What kind of stone the Lord wanted in particular places. When the first temple was being built, it was quiet. It wasn't. It was no sound of a tool being used or anything like that. Right. But it says that you gotta watch how you build, or you gotta have a care of how you build, man. You gotta have a care of the sheep. You gotta have a care of the flock. You gotta first and foremost have a care of the doctrine that you're teaching the correct doctrine. Because there's all kinds of infiltration methods that are taking place amongst this thing of ours, man. So it says that you got to be mindful in how you build, man. So when we read Ezra the 4th chapter, it's a prime example of our forefathers building in the threat of imminent death. When it wasn't, as Elder Mike Allah likes to say, when it wasn't cute being an Israelite.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got a lot of Jake that take this Israelite thing and make it a fad, and they want to be cute. Well, here very soon it's not going to be cute to be calling yourself an Israelite in this time, man. But that's as the scripture says, then shall it be known who was my chosen when it's all said and done. Lord willing, we're of that number. Lord willing, Yahweh Shemal Shai gives us the spirit to endure. Yeah. You got it, or unless you want to jump into it.
Yeah, we can just jump into it.
All right, so this is the book of Ezra, chapter 4, verse 1. It says, now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple unto Yahweh, power of Israel, then came they to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither.
Yeah, and what you have, here was the heathen, right, approaching Zerubbabel, which we know. Can we get that word Zerubbabel?
Yeah.
Let's just tap into what his name actually means, because we can relate to this as us being brought up in Babylon, planted here, right? We can relate to the assimilation process that was passed down to us through the initiation, through the public school system. All right, some of us may have gone through the prison industrial complex, but chiefly, all right, what we all can agree upon is that we were all brainwashed with the manipulation tactics that this devil has used to put, this idea and this philosophy of us being, from Africa or, being brought up in a Christian church. We can all relate to that, idea, and we can relate to, Zerubbabel right here as his name, what it portrays and what it stands for,
Yep, so this name, the name Zerubbabel in the Hebrew is pronounced Zarah Babal. All right, Zarah Babal, which is a root word from the word Zarab, and then Babal, with Zarab Babal means sown in Babylon. Okay?
Yeah, so we were sown in Babylon, okay? Just like Zerubbabel, okay, which that trickled down because he led the, pretty much the occupation, the nation of Israel. He was the leader of the nation of Israel to persuade them and to continue with them in the faith of building the temple, right?
And really it was like Haggai, the prophets Haggai and Zechariah. Because when you read, you're right, because he was a leader, he was a governor,
right?
Which was King David in the reincarnation, but the ones that really galvanized the building was the prophets Zechariah and Haggai,
right.
And they was galvanizing Joshua being the high priest as well as Zerubbabel to galvanize them, but just wanted to put that out.
Kind, but we can relate to his position, us being brought up and sown and planted in Babylon,
right?
But that returning to our heritage, it comes with that sharp separation, which we're about to read through our, about and get into, of the separation of our adversaries from us turning to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, separating from that that Babylonian sowing and growing toward and closer and leaning upon Yahweh Bashim outside.
Kind of, yep. And this is Sardon, when you go into history, is I want to say he was he was the grandson of Shalmaneser the Fifth, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see real quick, because his predecessor was Sennacherib, and I want to say Sennacherib's predecessor was his father was Sargon II, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Yeah, Sargon II was his predecessor, and then Sargon II's predecessor was Shalmaneser the Fifth. So Shalmaneser the Fifth, when you read in 2 Kings, the 17th chapter, where the northern tribes got moved out of Samaria, and then all those different transports came and dwelt in Samaria, and then pretty much the northern tribes got moved to Nineveh. It began with Shalmaneser the Fifth, and then it trickled down. You know, it trickled down to Sennacherib, you know, and then Sargon II, all the way down to Esarhaddon, which Esarhaddon pretty much furthered and kind of completed the whole transportation. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just one king that did it. You know what I'm saying? It was over a period of time. So that whole that deportation period was happening over a long period of time. It wasn't just a deportation period happened in 1 year, then that was it. No, it was a process.
Yeah.
So you had a lot of heathen, you know, that was in our land, where the northern tribes was. That's where you go into John the 4th chapter, and Yahushua met that woman at the well, and that woman at the well was a heathen.
Yeah.
That's why he said our fathers worshipped at this mountain, you know. But that was a heathen.
Right.
That was saying that.
Right.
You see, so this Sardon is the great grandson of Shalmaneser the Fifth. He had Shalmaneser the Fifth, then he has Sennacherib, Sargon II, and then Esarhaddon. You see, and you can read about Sennacherib whenever he got his military got put to death in 2 Kings, the 19th chapter, where that angel came and smoked that military. That was Sennacherib's military, and then Sennacherib's his sons killed him, and that's when the Sardon came into the throne. And you can read that in 2 Kings, the 19th chapter.
Yep. And that's why context in the New Testament is so important, because you know a lot of Christians they disregard these writings of the Old Testament because they think that it just doesn't matter and it has nothing to do with the nation, what they assume through what do they call it, supersessionalism.
Mm-hmm.
That when the New Testament, Matthew the 1st chapter is just talking about now the Lord is talking to everybody. Right. Through the story, but that's why this history is so important. Like you said, when the Lord told his disciples on that Great Commission to not go into the way of the Samaritans, but go into the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? That's why that distinction was made, and you can see that taking place even in here on a small level,
Mm-hmm.
of just what's going on.
Yep. Hold on a second. I'm just gonna plug this up.
Got it.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
But we'll go back to it.
Here.
But yeah, it could be, I'll start from the top of Ezra 4:1. It says,
I got you.
Oh, can't do it.
Yeah, I got you. So going back to the book of Ezra, chapter 4, and we'll continue on. It says, all right, verse 2 again. We'll read verse 2 again. It says, Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your power as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Assur, which brought us up hither. Letting you know, see, he said the king of Assur, which brought us here.
Mm-hmm.
Letting you know that process was taking. It was a long process. You see, it says, But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together will build unto Yahweh power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us. And you get that. Are you gonna make a point?
No, you got it.
And you get that information or that history. And when you read the last verse, let me get it real quick. I think it's the last verse in 2 Chronicles, the 36th chapter.
Yep, I got you.
All right. And Isaiah actually prophesied of this taking place too. In Isaiah the 44th chapter or the 45th chapter, one of those two. Because he said, Cyrus, my servant.
Mm-hmm.
One to say it is Isaiah 45. Yeah, Isaiah the 45th chapter. And that was years, that was years before Cyrus was even on the scene that this even happened. Which is heavy.
I believe they called him by, did they call him by name too?
Yeah, yep, the first verse.
That's heavy too, cause like our nation was known for the prophecies, man, and they even called Cyrus by name. I forget how many years that was before he even pulled up on the scene. I think it was like 300 years before he even pulled up on the scene. But I had that Second Chronicles for you.
All right.
This is Second Chronicles chapter 36, verse 22. It says, "Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua spoken by the mouth of Jeremiah might be accomplished, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth hath the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua of heaven, power of heaven, given me."
See, so he acknowledged the Lord. He was like, all the kingdoms of the world, the Lord, Yahweh, the God of Yahweh gave unto me. He acknowledged the Lord. Now, this was a heathen saying this, though. Because mind you, even at this time when you go into history, he did acknowledge Yahweh as the God of the Israelites, but he also, pretty much to a degree, had a lot of different nations of people who he allowed to worship their own gods. You see, whenever they went back to their lands, because he still honored his gods that his gods that he believed in, but he did acknowledge Yahweh though. Does that mean that he's going to be, one of the chosen? No. Now he is known as the Lord's anointed. What was he anointed to do? He was anointed to fulfill prophecy. It was 150 years before he even came on the scene that he was even written about. You got it.
Kind of the water. It says, verse 23, "Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, all the kingdoms of the earth have Yahweh, power of heaven, given me, and he hath charged me to build him an house in Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Who is there among you of all his people? The Lord Yahweh, his power be with him, and let him go up."
And this was the commission. This is the commission that Cyrus gave. You see? So when you read in Ezra, the first chapter, going through the book of Ezra, this is after the commission that we've gotten to go back to Jerusalem after the captivity of the southern kingdom, for us to go back into Jerusalem to start rebuilding the temple. But in that process, you had, different Persian kings that rose up into power, like Xerxes. You had Cambyses, Cambyses II, Pseudo-Smyrna, so on and so forth, that came into power. But it was all based upon this specific decree that Cyrus the Great gave for us to go back. Right. You got it.
Yep. That was the last verse on that.
Okay. All right. So going back to Ezra chapter 4, verse 4. It says, "Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah, and troubled them in building, and hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose, all the days of Cyrus king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius king of Persia."
Oh, sorry. Can you read verse 3 again?
Yeah, I got you. But it says, "But Zerubbabel and Jeshua," I'm sorry, I passed this verse, my bad.
No, you good.
It says, "But Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power, but we ourselves together, will build unto Yahweh power of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia hath commanded us."
Yeah, and that's what we're saying right now. We can relate to that statement that Zerubbabel boldly gave unto the heathen, right? Saying and letting them know that no, you can't build with us, man. You can't help us forward this work that the Lord has given us. And you've seen how insincere that question even was as they started to, after he said no, how the envy of the mission that the Lord gave us, how they started to try to usurp that goal and try to, collaborate together with each other to bring down the nation of Israel, right? But, the Lord has the Lord has only given this knowledge, this truth to the nation of Israel for us to build upon, right? Oh, um, what did we get? You get the First Corinthians 3 is what you
3 and
brought
10.
up? Yeah. Yeah. Can we read that again?
Mm-hmm. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verse 10. It says, according to the grace of the Most High which is given unto me, as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation.
Right. That foundation is Yahushua. Right? And Yahushua only came for the nation of Israel. So, yeah, it's only for our hands to touch that. Right? Yahushua only died for us. So, yeah, that's our portion, man. Yahushua, or I'll say it like this: we're His portion. You know.
Yep.
So that work is only for us to do. That goal of us fulfilling His role and what He's predestined for us to do is it's only for us, man. You know, He's our blessing.
Yep. It says, and another buildeth thereon, but let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon.
Yeah. So can't no goyim, as you know the modern day small hat would say, right? Yeah, they can't touch this, man.
Yep.
You know, and we passed that to us, right? Amos the 3rd chapter. Okay, the Lord has only known us.
Right.
All right. The Lord He's only dealing with the nation of Israel.
Precept. This is Baruch 4, 3 and 4. It says, give not thine honor to another, nor the things that are profitable unto thee to a strange nation.
Yep.
It says, O Israel, happy are we, for things that are pleasing to the Most High are made known unto us. You see, and that's a clear, direct cut to those individuals that are out here trying to say that, you know, the Lord has opened up the new covenant, you know, which the new covenant clearly it tells you that it's given unto Judah and Israel, the whole 12 tribes. But that's a clear cut indicating that the Lord isn't just dealing with everybody, man. He just didn't give what was pleasing in His sight to everybody. He gave it to the nation of Israel, and the nation of Israel, all right, was to use the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the scriptures to be a light unto the nations around about, as it says in Deuteronomy the 4th chapter. You see? So
yeah,
that was it on that.
Because that's like a commandment, man. You know, if the commandment was given to us, right, which a commandment is synonymous with an instruction or like a blueprint, right? If a commandment is given to a certain person, how can you tell somebody that don't have the blueprint, yeah, you can help me build? You don't even know what the hell we building, man. You wasn't entrusted and accepted of the lead the lead tradesman with the blueprints. So how can you really help us?
Exactly.
You don't know the final mission, which that final mission and establishment is us actually having a resting place and us being able to exalt Yahweh Shai as a nation alone, man.
Yep.
Can I get this real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead. Cause you got a roach, you know what I'm saying, on the comic board. So
spray them out. Get that.
You know what I'm saying? I'm about to Osmo Watt, you know what I'm saying? Osmo Watt, I know you listening, man. I know I'm adding you as a moderator so that you can use the go ahead and use the raid spray, Baba Kushai.
Pull out the raid spray.
Yeah, Osmo Watt, I know you listening, man. Go ahead and use that. Go ahead and use that raid spray on Timothy Jameson here.
Nigga named Timothy Jameson.
Man.
Sound like a whack alcohol, man.
Man, right.
It's Romans 3:19 in the NLT. It says, obviously, the law applies to those whom it was given, for its purpose is to keep people from having excuses and to show them that the entire world is guilty before Yahweh Shai. And really, I just wanted to touch on that first part, because that's a whole other lesson in itself, when we get into Romans 3rd chapter. But, the law applies only to us, man. The law, and when I speak about the law, of course, it's, that embodies the commandments and the things that we shouldn't do and the things that we should do within the land, but also, too, the instruction, like you mentioned, the instruction of building the tabernacle, the instruction of, building the temple, how to worship Yahweh Shai, the proper tools and the way to build upon our land and how we should move within the land, right? Those things also embody the law. Also, the prophecies, man. The prophecies that that embodies the law, and those was only given to the nation of Israel, whom it was given to, man.
Yep, exactly. Only given to the nation of Israel. Okay, and people can come on here and say, you know, you guys are liars. This is the third. Well, Yahweh Shai, it was same thing was said to who the world called Jesus. Same thing was said to Yahweh Shai. They called him Beelzebub. They said they had demons and the devil was on him too.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, Timothy Jameson, hey, thank you, right?
Yeah.
So it's anything else you had on that?
Nah.
All right, so we'll go ahead and continue. Back in Ezra chapter 4, verse 6, it says, and in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem. Now this Ahasuerus here is talking about Xerxes the first. All right, when you get that word Ahasuerus here, it's you got Achash Warawash or Ach Shawawash, right? Which says, I will be silent and poor. Title of king of Persia, Xerxes. It says probably Xerxes, but we know for a fact that it's talking about Xerxes the first, which was he was a king of Persia. So this is down the line. So when even when you go into the history of Cyrus the Great, right? When you go into the history of Cyrus the Great and you pull him up, all right? Yeah, Cyrus the Great, and then his predecessor was his successor, was Cambyses the second, right? That was his successor. And then when you go to Cambyses the second, right? From him, you had Bardia, which is also known as like Pseudo-Smyrna or Bardia, right? And then from there, you had Darius the Great, right? And then you had Xerxes the first. So this is after a series of different kings. So this is down. This wasn't just no year-long process and 30-minute process. You know what I'm saying? No, this was a series. You know what I'm saying, of kings that rose up. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, he said.
I believe 70 years passed from pretty much the 4th verse to the 5th.
Mm-hmm. He said the raid doesn't work. Well, how about this? How about this? We'll put you. We'll go ahead and use. I'll use the raid spray. How about that? You know what I'm saying?
Double raid spray.
Yep.
Sometimes you just gotta stump a roach out.
There we go, right there. There's the raid spray. You happy? There you go. Oh man, but yeah, this was Xerxes the first. His reign was from 518 to 465 BC. So this is way down the line. You know, not way down, but you know, it was a while.
Yep.
All right, verse 7 it says, and in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bishlam, Mithridath, Tabeel, and the rest of their companions unto Artaxerxes king of Persia. And the writing of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. So it says a letter to King Artaxerxes. Verse 8 it says, Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the scribe wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes the king in this sort. And remember, the scriptures talk about how they would try to create an accusation against us at this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's that? Revelation the 12th chapter.
Yeah, 12 or 12 and 11.
12 and like 12 and 10.
Yeah, really, yeah, that whole 12, 10 through 12.
Mm-hmm. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 10. It says, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power, in the power of his Mashiach. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night. And that's what Esau's doing. You see, he's the accuser of our brethren. He's the main one that's continually sending up all kinds of accusations against us, even though he's the one that's putting the snares and pitfalls in front of us, like it says in Jeremiah the 50th chapter. You see? And they're trying to find any kind of way, all right, to bring forth an accusation. And you even have Israelites that are out here that are trying to, that's linked in as agents, you see, doing things, really working for the feds, or just, doing things to make the ministry to be blamed. Like those knuckleheads, believers of the way, burning the American flag on camera. Like, what good is that going to do?
Yeah, very edifying.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was very edifying. This is for our brothers and sisters that's locked up. Well, you burn the flag ain't gonna lessen nobody else's sins.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna help anything.
Yeah.
You see? But Esau's trying to find any kind of way that he can accuse the men of the Lord, but he's not gonna be able. He's not gonna be able to prevail.
Right.
Okay. So going back to Ezra the 4th chapter, verse.
Oh, well, can you read can you read that again? The Revelation. What was it?
Yeah,
12,
12 and 10. I got
10.
you. There we go. It said, and I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now has come salvation and strength in the kingdom of our power and the power of his Mashiach.
See, and the difference between from this time and now, right? Because when we read, we had lasted the 3rd chapter. We finished up verse 12 of the 3rd chapter. When the foundation was laid, it said that you had people like they was weeping for joy and jumping and shouting for joy, but you also had those that were weeping, that the fact that it wasn't as great as King Solomon's temple,
Right.
And
They got to see the glory of his temple. They was actually there.
it was there, man.
And so they seen it get destroyed. You know what I'm saying? They seen the Babylonian, they seen the Babylonians come through and sack it. You know what I'm saying? So when they seen it, it was like, damn.
So, but it's not going to relate and compare itself to the glory that we shall inhabit when we're changed. Because like you said, we are the temple now. We're being built up, but we're going to be changed to that new body, man. So when it talks about New Jerusalem and how it's going to come down, right? That's we're going to be the pretty much the physical comparison unto this new temple, man. Right? We're going to be that indeed. We're gonna be built up in that manner. So that work will be finished.
Yep.
Right. So when it says now has come salvation, right? Salvation wasn't given in this period of time,
Right.
But these same parables or situations they still play out in today's time.
Exactly. Everything like we quoted earlier. The things that are written aforetime are for our learning. There's nothing new under the sun. It's the same thing that's just being recycled today. It's just a different time.
Was you gonna read the next one too? The accuser of our brethren.
Yeah, I got you. Yep. It says, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our power day and night.
Yeah, and that accusation is being pushed forth right now, right? Of us being terrorists, okay, of us being, peas, right? Which we ain't gonna even say the word, but the worst. We're pretty much the scum of the earth, right? But that accusation is only gonna build itself up in these times, in all an attempt to stop this work. But what did I forget who was giving the speech in Acts the 5th chapter, right?
Peter.
It was Peter that said, if the Lord ain't gonna stop this work, or was it Gamaliel?
Oh, that was Gamaliel.
Yeah, Gamaliel. Pretty much saying that, hey, if this work is of the Lord, it's not going to be destroyed, man. And the same applies here, as they tried to usurp the will of the Lord here, the heathen I'm speaking about, as they tried to usurp the will of the Lord, that's not going to be stopped. All right, you may momentarily think that you're putting something on pause or whatnot, or you think you're doing, hey man, but it's all according to the Lord's will. This work is going to be finished, and we see the example in this chapter. But it's also it's a faith booster to know that in these times, it's still gonna play out in the same way, man.
Yep, I got a precept real quick here.
Okay.
Damn, I just had it. Where'd it go? Slovakia. Well, yeah, it'll come back. But let me just get this word accuser real quick in the Greek. That word is kategoreo, which means to accuse. It says to accuse before a judge, to make an accusation of an extrajudicial accusation. And that's exactly what Esau's trying to do right now. He's trying to make an accusation against the elect, and that's the spirit. Yahweh Shai just brought it back to my remembrance. The scripture says, who can lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? And the answer is nobody, man. All right, this is Romans chapter 8, verse 33. All right, it says, who shall lay anything to the charge of the Most High's elect? It is the Most High that justifieth. You see, there's no charge that can be laid to the elect, man. If you're of the elect of Yahweh Bashem Shai, even with the accusations that Esau tries to bring, the lies, the treachery, the guile, the deceit, all these various different things, they're not gonna be able to stand in Yahweh Bashem Shai's judgment, man. Because the elect are already covered. They're already set forth to be covered, man. You see? So all these different lies and schemes and things of that nature that Esau got up his sleeve to try to accuse us of, like you said, terrorist. That these guys are planning to do this, that, and the third, blah blah blah. It's not gonna be able to stand. You see, there's no kind of accusation that you can bring forth that's gonna be able to stand against Yahweh Bashem Shai's elect, man. You know.
Straight up.
So going back to Ezra, the 4th chapter. All right, go back here. All right, so going back to Ezra, the 4th chapter, it says,
You read verse 9.
yeah, verse 9. It says, Then wrote Rehum the chancellor and Shimshai the scribe and the rest of their companions, the Denaites, the Apharsachites, and the Tarpilites, the Arphasites, the Archivites, the Babylonians, the Sushanshites, the Dehavites, and the Elamites, and the rest of the nations whom the great and noble Asnarpa brought over, and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side the river, and such at a time.
That's a whole lot of nations in that area, man, that region. So, what does that tell you? And even that even shows you the ratio of who the Lord, how he always had a whole bunch of nations against just the nation of Israel, right? That shows you how, Psalms 83, right? How the nations had gathered against us and against the anointed, saying, can we get that matter of fact? Because we in the same situation here, man. They trying to stop this work, and it's not just Esau, Edom, right? Moab is a part of this deceptive plan. All right, you got the Elamites. They know they have their relics too, that they know we the Israelites. All these nations are joined together, man. They're in,
Confederacy.
Yeah, confederacy. The water. That's the word.
Yep. This is Psalm 83:1. It says a song or psalm of Asaph. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O power; hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power." It says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." See? And you got to understand, like, this is something that they still have in mind today. This isn't something that just randomly just went away. It wasn't that was back in the Bible days, as these Christians are. That was the Bible day. Well, that's still happening today. You see, these different nations, all right, they still want to cut you off, man. They know exactly who we are. They know who we are, and they know the power that we serve. These elites of these different nations, man. You see, they know now that the average Joe, walking down the street going to the grocery store, buying some Skittles and things of that nature, they don't know.
Yeah.
But these higher ups, they know exactly who we are, man.
Yeah, and really when people say that, they're just they're deluding themselves of not wanting to face reality, because they'll say that, but out of the same tongue, they'll say, I don't think it's they'll say, oh, we in the end days, we in the end times, but we ain't in the Bible days. That was back in the old days, But they'll say, oh, we think we ain't in the end times though. You ask them, are we in the end times? Yeah, I think we in the end.
So I guess we're still in the Bible days then, right?
Right.
Declaring the end from the beginning.
Yeah.
That means that we gonna be in the Bible days, as they like to say, regardless, man.
Yeah.
Like that's anyways. It says and then going back here, it says the first in verse 6, it says the tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites, of Moab and the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek, the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Assur also was joined with them. They have hope in the children of Lot, they lie. You see all these various different nations, man. And but when you go down, um, when you go down, let me get it real quick here. I'm gonna jump down to verse 17 in the same chapter. It says, "Let them be confounded and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the most high over all the earth." So when you read about these various different nations who want to cut us off from being a nation, it says that they're going to be confounded and troubled forever and put to shame. So this whole, vocab alone, these various different individuals that's trying to stop this building process, they're going to be confounded. You see, they're going to be put to shame. They're not going to be able to stand. Their accusations aren't going to stand.
Yeah.
The scripture says that every tongue that rises up against us, we shall condemn in judgment. For lack of better words, Isaiah 54. You got it.
Yeah, and that guy Vocab Malone, he's a big advocate of against us as well. But the irony is, the Lord had him name himself Vocab Malone and put that title upon him. But you think the word of the Lord, the vocabulary of the Lord was gonna be void, man? You think that His word wouldn't stand?
Right.
So the hell with you, man. The Lord got something prepared for that ass.
Yep. That's right. Right. So going back to Ezra 4, it says here, verse 11, it says, "This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king. It says, Thy servant, the men on this side of the river at such a time. Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and having set up walls thereof, and joined the foundations." So it was talking shit, calling us a rebellious and bad city, and this is how they look at us today.
Yeah.
Because we're, the scripture says that, that Jerusalem will be a city without walls. Let me see if I can find it. Because we're really the city, Zechariah 2 and 4. It says, start at verse 3. It says, and behold, the angel that talked with me went forth, and another angel went out to meet him, and said unto him, Run, speak to this young man, saying, Jerusalem shall be inhabited as towns without walls, for the multitude of men and cattle therein. For I, saith Yahweh, will be unto her a wall of fire round about, and will be the glory in the midst of her. You see, and that's talking about in the kingdom. You see, so we really are the people. Or I'm sorry, we really are the people as well too. But we really are the temple of Yahweh Bashem Shah. So when they see us rising up, you see in various different camps rising up, they're afraid. Remember, the scripture says that what great fear fell upon them when they saw them. Yep. They're afraid, man. Okay. So going back, verse 12 again, it says, Be it known unto the king that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and bad city, and having set up walls thereof, and joined the foundations.
Can I get this real quick?
Mm-hmm.
And it just ties into that point, because they do this in an attempt of manipulating and trying to cease this work, and speak ill of us, because they know the truth.
Right.
And the truth is that when the Lord is dealing with us, and when we are actually abiding by what He wants and commands us and wants us to do, they know that they have no chance of usurping our authority, man.
Judith, the 5th chapter.
Mm-hmm. Oh, is it Judith 5? I thought it was Judith. Is it 11?
No, I think it's Judith like 5 and like 20 or something like that.
Okay.
Starting like around like verse 20, I think.
Let me see.
Like whenever we're in league with our power, there's nothing they can do to us and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I was looking for that.
Judith chapter 5, verse start at verse let's see. Start at verse 18. Actually, start at verse 17 and just start from there and just read down.
I got it in GNT.
That's fine.
It says Judith 5 and 17. It says, Their power hates wickedness, and as long as they do not sin against Him, they prospered.
Mm-hmm.
But when they disobeyed Him, they suffered heavy losses in many wars, and were finally taken away as captives to a foreign country.
Boom, and there it is right there. So that goes to show you the reason as to why we fell. We transgressed against Yahweh Bashem Shah, so the Lord allowed our enemies to overtake us. But when we are in league with our power, there's nobody that can stand before us, man. Nobody. That's why the scriptures. Why do you think the scriptures tell you that that one shall chase 1,000? How else do you think that's going to happen? You see,
Yeah.
spiritual power and the Lord being with you. Really, the Lord being with you first, and when the Lord is with you, that comes with a particular power, man. You know, you got it.
Okay. It says, verse 18, but when they disobeyed him, they suffered heavy losses in many wars and were finally taken away as captives to a foreign country.
Mm.
The temple of their power was leveled, and their cities were occupied by their enemies.
Man, you know why 70 AD happened,
Mm-hmm.
why the Babylonian siege happened, why the Assyrians came and took us away. You know, why we were on the slave ships.
Yep.
Why we fell when the Renaissance period came, why we fell. Here's the answer. You got it.
It says, but now that they have returned to their power,
Mm-hmm.
they have come back home from the countries where they had been scattered.
Mm-hmm.
They have given, or Salakia, it says, they have again taken possession of the city of Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm.
where their temple is, and have resettled in the mountains that had remained uninhabited.
You got it.
Yeah, and you know, that's when we come back into our land, that's us coming back into our inheritance, all right, and being established in, you know, and pretty much being in alignment with Yahweh Bashim outside. It was always in history, we was always moved more toward the west as we got farther and farther away from our power, you know, until we was completely kicked out of our land. And hence now, as we're in the most western part, the western hemisphere of the earth, right, we're the farthest away from our land, and we've been completely discontinued from our heritage, right? But now, since you know we're turned back into us, and I mean not us, but now since we're turned back into Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, it's such a problem because the nations are starting to remember, and they know they have the accounts, the records of us, and the things that happened when we were in league with our power. They know our power more than you know, a majority of our people know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they know because of that power that they, you know, that we know as God, or majority of our people know as God. They know as Al-Shadia, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep, and Judas was written during the time of Ashur what's his name, Ashurbanipal. You know, and he was after Asarhaddon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so this is still you know, that was written during the time when the Assyrians were still in power.
Yeah.
You know, so you got to think they knew, like you said when you was reading, they knew, and we was in line with our, you know, when we was in line with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, they knew the power that came with us being in line with our power.
Yeah.
That we couldn't be stopped. So that why do you think they kept wanting to sack the temple and stop a sacrifice?
Mm-hmm.
They knew the power. They knew the results of that happening, of what that would bring.
That's right.
You know. Was there any more in that, Judith?
No, that was it.
All right. So we'll go back to Ezra 4. It says, verse 13. It says,
oh, wait, actually,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna read this last verse.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 20. It says, Judith 5 and 20. It says in the GNT, Sir, if these people are now sinning against their God, even unknowingly, and if we can be sure that they are guilty of some offense, we can successfully attack them.
Mm.
And that's what they're preparing now. You know, having our people try to worship the idea of, you know, Christianity or pseudoscience, this technology, right? They're willingly pushing forth you Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans to get you to bow the knee. All right, that's what they're trying to. They're singling you out of all other nations. They ain't trying to force Moab to get the goddamn jab, man. This is you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they ain't trying to you know, advertise to these other nations. They trying to sell you on this NWO, man.
Yep.
You know, so that you can be destroyed, because they know if you get in line with your power, you're a threat. All right. He that teacheth his son, Sirach 30 and 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. Right, you're grieving the enemy by coming back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, and these Edomites, these other nations, they know that, man.
Yep. Yep, they know exactly what time it is, man. That's why the scripture says in Revelation 11, it says that great fear fell upon them when they stood upon their feet, for lack of better words.
Right.
Great fear fell upon them. You see, and great fear is falling upon them now. Like just like at that time during the time as we're reading here Ezra 4, great fear fell upon our enemies, man. It was like, man, no, we can't have this building process continue. Hell no. We got to write a letter. We got to get these young. We got to stop this. You know.
Straight up.
Verse 13 it says, "Be it known now unto the king that if the city be builded and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt damage the revenue of the kings."
Yeah, and that's pretty much what got the king to make a decision, right? When he said, "Oh, the money gonna be fucked up because of this."
Right.
Oh man, we gonna make some changes, right? And Esau Edom is he's pushing that now, all right? And they tried to do that. They lied on Yahushua when he was on the scene.
Yep.
Can we get Luke 23 verse 1 and 2?
Yep.
You know they lied on Yahushua too when he was on the scene, and that cements that our relationship with him and how he suffered and how he was lied upon is gonna be pretty much the same in these times, man. Because we know that I forgot the actual bill number, but I know the elder Natsazak Ba or Guy, I believe in Cali, you know, elder Gad, you know, he went into pretty much that in 2025 the IRS is gonna have free reign to come down upon these religions or organizations with the 501c3 without any sort of evidence if they see fit them having any kind of relation to T-risk characteristics or beliefs or affiliations. They can do an investigation. They don't have to have any evidence. They just have to have an inclination of, oh, I think that they're worthy of investigation. They can go ahead and do and move on you, right? And we know that the money, right? Money talks. That's when Esau can get in them pockets, especially when it comes to taxes, man. That's how he starts to really condemn and persecute you and be backed by that.
Yep. That's right. This is Luke 23 and 1. It says, "And the whole multitude of them arose and led him unto Pilate, and they began to accuse him, saying, We found this fellow perverting the nation and forbidding to give tribute to Caesar, saying that he himself is Hamashiach the king."
Yep, and they forbid. They thought that Yahushua wasn't giving them tribute. You know, they lied upon his name. You know, when he even said himself, "Render unto Caesar what is his." You know, this is his. Give him his taxes. We pay taxes, man. We not dodging these these alphabet organizations, man.
Right.
We give them their money because we know we under subjection. This ain't our kingdom, right?
Yep.
And that's how we relate to Yahushua, man. He had to deal with that bullshit that these Romans own. You know, so and the fact that they lied upon Israel here, that shows that we share the same grief and emotion as Yahushua, man.
Yep. You got to render unto Caesar was his, but at the end of the day, we're preaching of a new kingdom to come, which is going to take down this kingdom. But that's a message, to this world. It's like it is a treasonous message.
Yeah.
Which is why eventually it's going to come down with great. They're going to come down with great wrath, but they have to have an accusation before they can do it, though.
Right. Because
we're not doing anything. We're not saying that we're not doing anything carnally.
Right.
Verse 14 it says, now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not meet for us to see the king's dishonor, therefore we have sent and certified the king. It says that search may be made in the book of records of thy fathers, so shalt thou find in the book of the records, and known that this city is a rebellious city and hurtful unto kings and provinces, and that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. We certify the king if this city be builded again, and the walls thereof set up. By this means thou shalt have no portion on this side of the river. You see, so that was pretty much giving the accusation at that point. Like, look, if this city gets set back up, then it is that you're not gonna get no money. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be rebellious. All the kings run about. They're not gonna adhere. But we would adhere to Yahweh Shema Shai. You see, and that was gonna hinder their process, right? A few more verses. Verse 17, it says, Then sit the king and answer unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwell in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace and at such a time. The letter which he sent unto us hath been plainly read before me, and I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. You see, because they know they got the records of the throne of David. You see, they got the records of whenever King David was on when King David was on the throne, and King Solomon was on the throne. There was 40 years of peace, but all the different nations were subject unto the nation of Israel. They got the records of that. You see, it says verse 20. It says,
I had something for you. This is Acts 17:6. It says, Not finding them there, they dragged out Jason and some of the other believers instead, and took them before the city council. Paul and Silas have caused trouble all over the world, they shouted. And now they are here disturbing our city too.
Man, they called the Apostle Paul. They called him a pestilent fellow, if I'm not mistaken. And it's like it's like a right. Matter of fact, let me get that real quick. A pestilent. If I type in the word fellow, it'll probably pop up. Let me see. Goes in the book of Acts. Let's see. Here you go. Yep, Acts 24. Where was you reading that?
Acts 17.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is Acts 24, verse 5. It says, For we have found this man a pestilent fellow, and a mover of sedition among all the Jews throughout the world, and a ringleader of the sect of the Nazarenes. They was talking about the Apostle Paul. And when you get this word pestilent here in the Greek, that word is loimos. All right, that word is loimos, and it says here a pestilent fellow, pest or a plague.
Damn.
A plague.
Damn.
And a plague usually spreads. So it's like the elect of Yahweh Shema Shah, the men that's teaching, is like a righteous plague that's going around that they're trying to stop. You see, but they can't stop it.
Yeah.
It's like a plague. It spreads. So if they're trying to get it under control, but they're not going to be able to. You know what I'm saying? Just as Esau does his little bullshit ass plagues that they, it's really Yahweh Shema Shah, but he's using Esau on the left hand side to do it. But you get what I'm saying?
That's really what living waters can do. Like if it's living waters to somebody that's in the desert, it's all about perspective, right? If you're in the desert and you get living waters, then yeah, that's a blessing. But if you got waters and you're trying to get something set up, and you ain't trying to have it dry in a certain place, and you're trying to have it wet in another, and you just get a flood all of a sudden, that's like almost fucking up the situation. So us pushing all this information out on these streams, right? On the live streams and on the internet, when it's supposed to be a web and an entrapment, but now it's a way out for our people out of this net, out of this infrastructure that this man has set up. It's fucking up his plans. It's like, oh hell no, the internet was supposed to be a trap so that we could reduce your ass to a QR code, and we can put you in a box so that you can have you a little AI wife and the AI family, and just shut you the fuck up.
Monitor pretty much the things that you can view online.
Yeah.
They wasn't expecting the internet to be the source of, truth coming out and then wickedness being revealed.
Right.
That's why Yahweh Shema Shai created the internet, for this to happen, to be the main vehicle for this word to be preached worldwide through the World Wide Web.
Yep.
Verse 20, it says, It says there have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river. You see, like we were speaking about King David. It says, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not builded until another commandment shall be given from me. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the king? So it's like, man, look, make sure this gets done fast, because why would damage, as it says, why should damage grow to the hurt of kings? Why should anybody be hindered because these people are building now, right? Verse 23, it says, now when the copy of King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews and made them to cease by force and power. So it wasn't just them two dudes that just came by themselves. No, they came deep.
Army.
In the name of King Xerxes the first. Yep. You see? It says, then ceased the work of the house of the Most High, which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now, when you go into it real quick, so it ceased until the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. So you had, let me see something real quick here. Just give me 1 second. That was Xerxes the first, and he reigned from 518 to 465 BC. Right? Or I'm sorry, his reign was from
536.
Let me go to Artaxerxes real quick, actually, because that was Artaxerxes. So his reign was from 465 to 424 BC. Then you had Xerxes the second. All right. And then let's see, Darius. It said Darius the king, which had to have been Darius the second. Right. So 424 to 423 BC. And then you had 423 to 404 BC. So that was like, what, 50, 40, 30, about like 40 years. 423, because it said that the reign stopped until the 2nd year of Darius the king. So the 2nd year of Darius the king was 421 BC. You see, 421 BC. And Darius reigned at 465, 55, 45, 35, 25, 24, 44 years.
Yeah.
That was bro, think about that. You building the building process stopped for 44 years. It stopped. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't just you guys can't build. We're gonna damn. And then all of a sudden, the building process. Then a week later, they started building again. Like, nah, it was 44 years, man. Until we started building again. Remember, the scriptures giving you a snapshot, but this is over a period of time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally, like in this chapter, it's like almost like 100 years passed from the beginning of this chapter.
Really?
Because it's 70 from the 536 to 465, and then you said from.
Oh, you're talking from the beginning of the book, or from the beginning of the book of Ezra, or the beginning of chapter 4?
I think of the beginning of the.
Because the beginning of chapter 4, they're just mentioning. They're mentioning Asarhaddon. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, the beginning of the book, you could say around that, but beginning of the chapter, and from the beginning of the chapter to the end of the chapter is about it's like a 40-year period.
40-year period. Yeah, that's man.
You know.
You kind.
So.
Hey, that's a lot.
Yeah,
a lot, man. Because Ezra still ain't even introduced. This is Ezra's book.
Yeah.
He's still ain't even introduced in the book.
So you got to think in that 44-year period, like where Jake was getting disenchanted. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It was thinking like the building process that wasn't really.
Yeah.
Why the Lord rose up Haggai and Zechariah to curse him out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to think over a 40-year period. Eventually, you're like, man, that was probably like, man, it is what it is. But nah, man, But was there anything else that you wanted to grab on that?
Can we get with that scripture that's once we started the work to they should laugh at you if we don't finish the parable?
Oh, Luke 14, I think it is.
Yeah.
sufficient enough to build.
Yeah, let every man have sufficient enough. Cause you know, of course, this was
Counting the cost.
yeah, this was you know, planned for us to you know to stop and attempt to usurp the will of the Lord, but you know that doesn't negate that what we're coming across now in these other nations, how they're about to up the persecution and the pointing and the blaming of the finger at us, right? They're going to try to stop this building process as well, but you know, just as our forefathers were, um, you know, provoked in the spirit to continue in the work, because they easily could have just chilled and was settled on their leaves and not been brought back into and stirred up in the spirit to be like, yeah, let's finish, you know.
Yeah.
We got to be in the same mindset, man. You know, regardless of where you at, what you did yesterday, what the Lord has given you today, and Lord willing tomorrow, if you get up, He's giving you an opportunity to continue and to build, man.
Right.
You know, regardless of what you did with your time previous to this, like we still have an opportunity and a grace period that's open unto us, and that's not for no reason. So, you know, let's not, speaking to myself first and foremost, we can't take it for granted. And like we opened up with, the object and the goal of going through this series is to bring it back so that we can relate into these stories to show you that, you know, now that Israel had gone through this period of 40 years, right? Us reading this story, it shouldn't take us 40 years to you know get the you know understanding on it. We should be able to get it a little quicker, you know. And we're gonna have to pick up on things quick in these times, you know. And, but I just want to say that through the spirit.
Yeah. I'll get this parable for you real quick, and we can end it off on this.
Okay.
This is Luke 14:28. It says, "For which of you, intending to build a tower, sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Least happily, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, This man began to build and was not able to finish."
Yeah, and that's how the other nations are looking at this work.
Yep.
They're looking at it and like they really think that they're about to finish this work. And when we went from the 3rd chapter to the 4th chapter, they seen the seriousness of us and how we took it as a nation when we celebrated as we laid the foundation. They heard that chant and that roar, and that's why they was making that inquisition on like, oh shit, hey, can we pull up and help? You know, they seen the seriousness of how we was taking it at first, right? And how we took, and our family, we have examples of that within our life. Our family seen how serious we took this truth when we first came in. Like we rebuking them at the table at Thanksgiving, you know. Right. So what does it look like for us not finishing this work? Everybody's watching us now. We're in the time of prophecy. Now it's the time when prophecy is popping off, and are we going to bitch up and not want to finish the work? Right. We have an opportunity to do just that, man.
Yep, you got to be in this. It's time to be in maximum overdrive, man. You know, you got to carry your cross. You know what I'm saying? Especially at the time that we at right now. You know, because it's just going to get harder. You know, it's going to get harder until we get to the kingdom.
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, of course. You know, but at the end of the day, the work has to be done. What did Yahweh said? He said, my meat is to do the will of him that sent me and to finish his work. You know what I'm saying? So that should be the number one priority on all of our minds, man. You know, you've seen the spirit that's been heavy, beginning with the apostles on down, going into sifting of 2025, man. You know, we don't want to be caught in that sifting process. You know, because it's going to come.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we want to make sure that we're on the right side of the right side of the stick, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
You know. But did you have anything else?
That's it.
All right. So with that, hey, you know, we pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Once again, we want to give all praise, honor, glory to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai B'Shem Rakakodash. All right, double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders, the great millstone that taught us the truth and that's what teaches truth. Much peace, love, and salutation to the elect and, you know, the Wada, to you Akim and Yaquath on the common board, you know, that, you know, Akim on the common board as well as you Yaquath that believe. You know, until next time, Lord willing, we say shalom.
Shalom.